This is what you need for the first component of our mobility and posture routine. This is orientated very much for people who are sitting, whether it's sitting for work or it's sitting for commuting, etc. But it's meant to open up your thoracic and open up your hips. Okay, so the first one, which I think is great, is mobilizing the joints in your rib cage and your upper thoracic spine. Okay, you can do any variation of this. You can hug your back. Okay, this is just a bit of a myofascial massage. And you can also extend your back over. Sometimes I like to get a grip on something behind me, even if it's like the bottom of the couch. Stretch out, then lower my hips. You can take some deep breaths, and that'll just gently release. You can spend 1 minute or so on that. Next one, I like to work in my lats and under my armpit. You can work just to the bottom of your shoulder blade here. You see, I'm not even moving the roller. I'm just moving my body across the roller. Then you can get right up into your shoulder blade, and you're sure to find some spots that are nice and tight. So you're just bringing blood flow to this area. The tissue is going to be kind of like a sponge. You're rinsing it out. Sometimes I'll reach with my arm to activate the muscles there, and then you can come right over onto your chest, leaning toward the bottom, and then you can move your body across the roller as well. Okay, then you switch and do that on the other side. Next, we're going to move down into our hips. So I like to roll in a similar fashion, my body across the roller, moving to the rear of your glutes, and then to the front of your hip flexor, at which point you can move up and down your hip flexor and across. When I find a spot that's particularly tight on me, I like to sit there a bit, and you can even bend and extend your leg when you get across a tight area. Okay, then we can work the back of the hip. You can roll that glute out, and then eventually you can bring your ankle across, and you can slide your body across the roller or roll the roller underneath you. Okay. So that's the quick and easy routine on the roller. You can extend down into your IT band. You've seen this one before. It's quite a little bit more advanced and a little bit more uncomfortable, but it's also really effective to release your back and your knee, all that tissue that ties into your iliotibial band. You've got these quad muscles, hamstring muscles, glute muscles, all tying in here. If you release the tissue and increase blood flow and the nutrition in that tissue through the massage, that can release your knee and your hip and lower back. Okay, so that's the second component, or the first component of the mobility routine. Just spent a few minutes on the roller, releasing our thoracic, our chest, our arms, and our hips. The second bit is to integrate that freedom in the blood flow and the nutrition in the tissue into some movement that you'll be trying to achieve throughout the day. Okay, one is the hip spine integrator, the other is the shoulder spine integrator, and the other one is these controlled articular rotations. You'll be seeing them more frequently, called CARs, across your internet spaces. Just a way to activate and create more space in the joint. Okay, so the first one we'll work on, lying on your back. This is the hip spine integrator. I like to have my arms out to the side here. You're going to drive through your heel, activate your glute, and just allow your lower spine to mobilize and your glute muscles to practice activating and releasing this front part of your hip. If you're sitting often all day, your glutes can become a little bit inhibited, inactive. This is a great way to switch those muscles on And make sure you're using your glutes through the day, not just your quads for simple activations. Okay, so driving your hip across. This is the way it looks like from this angle. Okay, next one we'll do is the shoulder spine integrator. There's a couple variations here you can try. So the first one, knees together, reaching out across your body with your head supported, inhaling across. It's also a really amazing one for your nervous system. Sometimes I let my fingers glide across the inner part of my arm. In the second variation, once you feel like you've started to open up that shoulder blade, inhaling around the top corner, top half, reaching out, protracting that arm, inhaling. Now sometimes people can get a bit stuck around this part here, in which case you can stop. You can just massage that tissue a little bit. You can try some of these pin and stretch techniques to try to open that up a little bit. And you can also use the muscles through your back to activate and lower that shoulder blade for a bit of control. Okay, so what we want to do in this integration is activating the opening side of the joint and rebalancing, creating more space in that joint. Okay, so those are the first two of the integrators. I'm going to show you just one variation for the shoulder and the hip of these controlled articular rotations. Okay, there's harder and easy versions of each. For the shoulder, we can reach out, coming around your body and back, and up and around. See how my palm is facing up as you reach? Palm facing up as you reach here and around. You can see how I'm trying my best not to compensate with other parts of my body. I'm not rotating, okay? I'm not lifting or protracting. I'm just lifting here and trying to exercise the muscles through my back, trying to strengthen the muscles that create that space between the humerus and my rotator cuff. And the same thing for the hip. We'll be doing just those hip rotations, bringing the knee up, around, and down. Out to the maximum here, under, and trying your best not to compensate through hip pelvic tilt or rotation through your body. So you're activating through your glutes, out to the side, around in a circle. No twisting if you can help it. Okay, that's going to activate again that hip in the rotational pattern and creating some space and strength and integrity around your hip socket. Okay, so that's the end of the integration exercises for your shoulder and your hip joint. Okay, we're into our third component. We've rolled, we've done the integrators. Now we're going to do a little bit of mobilization using just your mat and your body weight. So there's three components of this one. We'll start on our knees here and just working on turning your hips under, stretching through your hip flexors. Okay, you can even add in a bit of a tilt. And I like moving my hip in this crescent pattern here whilst activating my glutes in the back. Okay, so you're building strength and mobility through that hip. Okay, once I'm feeling good here, I can maybe extend and extend. Okay, just building some functionality and training your nervous system to be able to glide through with grace these hip flexing, hamstring exercises. Okay, you can do that on each side. Okay. Okay, next one. We'll sit back, slide side to side. It's a nice one to open up your shoulders. Then coming down, Superman, and pulling back side to side. Okay, you've got an activation of your shoulders. When you're feeling like you're a bit more advanced, you can reach and take your hands off the ground in this position before you come back down, and you're activating those back muscles in both. Okay, the next one, we're going to come up to the high push-up position. Okay, from here you can try some scapular punches. If this is a bit too strong, you can drop down to your knees again. Okay, but up here to a scapular punch. Elbows are locked out. You can work some different angles with your wrist and humerus, building some strength through your core muscles and some strength through your shoulder blades and mobility. Again, you want to try to think about your shoulders being down and back. Okay, this high plank position, we're going to do another hip opening. You can reach up and under. You can rock that knee out to the side. You can rotate the back leg. Okay, and you can just play around with your mobility, seeing how far you can get in each of these rotational. Okay, so that's the next component. Try a couple of those on each side from the high push-up position. And then we've got just this last one that I find is really great to tie all of that together. From this position here with your elbows high, kind of that push-up position, just reaching across, activating your glutes, twisting your spine, feeling your chest stretch. And then as you get a bit stronger, you can push up higher and maybe even push all the way up. Okay, so that's your mobilization for your shoulders, activation of your hips. And it's a really functional, flowing exercise.